Joe. Boom, boom, boom. That's not good, man.
To fucking murder you to death and annihilation, then also. Hello, welcome back to this Springlocks. They don't make sense. And I've been on a mission thinking through and planning through Springlocks that make the most sense, that work, but then again are the most game/movie accurate. And I'm just gonna talk about all my thoughts of Springlocks in this video. So let's get right into it. And I've been on a mission thinking through and planning through Springlocks that make the most sense, that work, but then again are the most game/movie accurate. Possibly even making me bleed. It's dangerous, but hey, it's only fun when you have that little bit of adrenaline. So first off, we will have to talk through what even are Springlocks to get more of understanding. So I'm just gonna go through all the things from the movies and the games that I know. If I'm wrong with anything, put them in the comments and I'll maybe put an update video to it. So what even are Springlocks? So in the FNAF lore / the FNAF movie, we were only able to see some amount of Springlocks. Only kind of this mechanism in the chest with these arms that just, you know, these 3 ribs that crash into you. You also see Abby almost getting stuck into one like crazy. Now, what purpose do they have? From what I can understand of, possibly it's just William Afton, after he lost his kids, that he was like, let's make a trap and get, I don't know, possibly Henry killed? Or some person, he wanted to possibly just murder someone, so he created this Springlock traps. Or maybe he just fought through and the only parts he had around were old animatronic parts, and then he just came up with that very dangerous mechanism. Now, what even are Springlocks for? So, from what I know, you have Springlock suits to have them interchangeable from an animatronic that's on the stage automatically doing the entertaining, to a performer being able to slip inside the suit and basically performing themselves, like walking around, since those kinds of animatronics seem not to be able to. Possibly they are older animatronics, or William just thought, boom, that's the best way I can murder without people really knowing it was me. And then after the police actually finds out, I'm just gonna off myself. Well, I don't think that he planned on killing himself, since in the movie he got attacked by a cupcake. And from the game, he kinda got, you know, surrounded by the kids in the back. In the game, you don't even see Abby and Mike. But yeah, I'm just gonna guess that they're a complicated mechanism that basically I've drawn a suit and basically this endoskeleton part. So if I basically put this suit above, like around the animatronic, the animatronic part is in the middle, which works for performing and etc. But if you activate the Springlocks, like wind them up, I'm gonna guess that the entire, like the endoskeleton, slides back, loosening up, loosening all those hinges, means they all can freely then move. And since they move back, there's space in front where a performer has space to be inside of. That's how I would logically think of Springlocks being just a mechanism for all the parts to slide back, like behind. And that's also what I kind of want to build out of cardboard later in the video, so stay tuned for that. I also, maybe you have heard of VRChat, seen an after-built avatar where you can put the suit off and you see the whole endoskeleton, and it's very detailed, and I'm gonna take some inspiration for it. So I'm just gonna say that I'm now gonna move on. And with you, we're hopping now on VRChat. Welcome to VRChat. If you don't know what VRChat is, here are some clips that I have recorded.
Stop fucking crying, bitch! Where? I don't wanna fucking hear it!
Just little bumblebee ass chat, motherfucker.
I'm
Look, yo. Boom, boom, boom. Ass knuckles, man.
In his ass, come on. I'm ready. I'm barefooted.
The fuck? The fuck? You can see you got this recording on OnlyFans.
Oh, you look really, really crispy.
Do I now? So, if you're now looking at this after-built avatar, it's very detailed. Like the flash moves, you see the ribcage and all kind of stuff, and you have all you see the bones and rods and stuff. And I've taken lots of pictures of that, and the mechanisms too, like on the arms, the legs, and the ass. Beautiful. That's quite what I wanted to show you. Now back to the real life me, even though I like this me way more. Like, look at this. Got many reasons to have this as my main avatar in VRChat. Put in comments if I should make a little video about VRChat if you're interested. I'd love to. Back to the IRL me. VRChat's quite an experience. You will very much so have to admit that VRChat is quite an interesting experience. It's still quite fun and chaotic. Now I've taken some images, and I'm gonna project them on my TV. And of course, all pictures and stuff you can see on Patreon for free. Become also a free member, so I know and have you guys' support. And you won't miss out on the latest uploads. Looking at the picture, the arm's basically like a cylinder with different strips. Like, see all these strips that go across, around, and what I also saw inside, there are like pipes, or basically the endoskeleton itself, that I'm gonna call it. Here you also see the hinge. I would say it only here moves up and down, and it doesn't spin, but the hand itself spins and goes in all directions. What doesn't make sense is the hand is like a ball joint. How are you gonna put your real hand inside of that? I would also say that moves to side, or like down or under. I don't know. The hand itself too is kind of an animatronic hand, robotic. Not like what I here envisioned, it being just hinges that you can lock into the position. But still, that's gonna be the idea that I'm gonna have, since that would make the gloves really big and complicated. Mostly since I want to make it out of metal and cardboard. Cardboard will work, metal, that's gonna be fabricating very hard. Mostly making little pieces, small hinges. Gonna be a pain. For the lower arm, it's basically the same. You see, it's also the same kind of cylinder with the hinge. On the back is also up and down hinge. That also can... So basically, it only spins, but also can go up and down. It would have the same kind of movability as a human. which is also quite genius. Well, ignore those. Then, the back. So you have this kind of rib cage, and you see there's this space in the back, and there is also, you see in the flesh, this endoskeleton rod that basically holds the head and the hips together. And I would say that that's the endoskeleton part that moves if the spring lock is activated, that moves inside of you. And that normally when you wear the suit moves back behind, hidden. Same for the arms, those pipes, this endoskeleton, they move outside, you know, like open. Whereas it's just gonna penetrate you and break all your bones. You can also like see that it basically copied the movie design, even though this is way older with the 3 ribs, which is interesting to see. And then again, you can see the hand again, a little bit more in a different angle. It's like really well modeled, and that's why I'm using it as an example, because I'm lazy. I'm not gonna model one myself. And why make something again when you already have something that works? And Afton build does look really great. Like here we see the ribcage, and personally, FNAF movie wise, it makes no sense that those 3 ribs go into you. And that's why I'm not gonna implement that in my suit. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to. That's where I'm going away from the movie and kind of basically more following the game lore. Because there are lots of difference between the game and the movie. But I'm not so sure. Maybe there are different Springlock suits, some specifically made to fucking murder you to death and annihilation, in order that are safe for William to wear. And coincidentally, the one that kills you is the only one he had left in the pizzeria. All the others rusted down into oblivion. The ass! That design is also so genius. You have your little rod, it twists, and then it attaches so you can move it outside and in all directions. It's so genius for the legs, you know, you can move your leg in all directions. That's really well thought through, and I give like 100 points to that. Like, you can move them up, down, sideways and stuff. That's definitely an idea I'm gonna copy. And the same for the arms is for the thighs. You have this kind of cage where then afterwards you possibly can slip on the fur portion of the suit. Like what I want to do with my suit too, the suit, the skeleton out of metal, you can just take off the skin and put on like Springtrap from FNAF 3 or the first Spring Bonnie, then maybe the FNAF movie one, maybe a custom one. You can play around, make a green rabbit. What's also cool is for the legs, you see they have the hinge, and outside of the hinge there's another piece that goes around the knee part, where the kneecaps, you have your knee, then this metal rod that goes outside of the suit where kneecap attaches. That's such a genius design. I'm definitely gonna copy that for this first suit. That I have like wires that go on the side and then move up around. But then there's nothing much new to say because it's same as this mechanism, it's just 2 hinges. And then again, the endoskeleton part on each individual just moves back behind. You have your arm, and the skeleton where the arm normally is just moves under it, hidden. That you have space. That's my theory. And then what I don't quite understand, the ball joints. There's no way you can slip your feet inside of there anywhere. There's no space. But I'm gonna guess that entire thing with the leg, you know, you have your leg, the ball joint, that just moves back, and you it's buckling here. So you basically have your leg here, exoskeleton leg, and then you put your actual foot like above it, you know, making it that you're taller, possibly reaching the rest of it easier and stuff, and fitting it more better. But then again, there gotta be also, for different kinds, fatter performers and stuff, there gotta be some way of like playing around, making the suit changeable. Like for me, I'm 6'2", I'd probably need a really tall suit. But away from that, having it a ball joint would work, but then these are basically the strongest joints for the animatronic, so I don't think ball joint would work too well for motors. I mean, you could use hydraulics and stuff, but they move quite slow. But that's something to have figured out later on, because first you gotta just work on the arms and stuff. They can just work on their own and stuff. And then you need chest part, legs. Like if you just start with the legs, you can't estimate how strong they gotta be if you don't already have the upper part. So the arms is probably gonna be the first project, the head the second, even though it's gonna be the most complicated. Cause, looking at it, you have like all these things that go around your head, plus above it stuff, and these eyes, they like, when it's in animatronic mode, I think they socket out in above, hidden inside somewhere, but I can't imagine there being space above it. But you know where I imagine space? If you look at him, the eyes don't have space above it. You know, that's the first way to go. But what if they actually go under it, inside of the snout? Because that's where space is. The human head will only be like here, you know, in the middle part, not here. That's why I imagine the eyes just pop down inside the snout, and then there's gonna be like some fake eyes that don't move, that pop from the side or somewhere. Like I can imagine that the eyes are gonna be the one rule breaker when it comes to not having interchangeable parts. Like I said, the mission is gonna be a suit that you don't have to change any parts on. It's all one thing that still all has the functionality that you can get yourself sit inside of it, but then also have the animatronic. And since from some tapes, I don't remember if they were official or not, they use lithium power that I just discovered. Basically, you could say they're using motors with lithium batteries, normal electric motors. And that's probably what I'm gonna use mostly for the suit too, because a whole hydraulic system might make cable management easier, because you just have these tubes. Actually, have an example. Then you only have, through the entire suit, you only have these tubes with pressure in them, going like from the head and stuff. But then again, if it's like with air pressure, it's just gonna move into a position and unmove. There's no between, and you can slow it down, but best is to have it as fast as possible. That will work for the jaw well, I can say that. But then where do you put the compressor? And it's a hassle. It's way easier just putting like a battery pack somewhere. Ways to have a battery pack and servo motors and all kinds. You can also like make these or have these really strong motors that move up and down. But yeah, that's what I'm imagining on the head. The eye sockets going down and then back slipping up. Cause the eye motors are quite big, and you see yourself, they would, if it's accurate, you would have to have it like glasses, and they have lights in them. You won't be able to see through them well, and most of the parts, the after bit looks way different than the Spring Bonnie from the FNAF movie. So 100% following this tutorial or following this model is not the way. It's just stealing some ideas of this suit and implementing them. Then again, you can see this inside of the flesh, the backbone, the how's it called again? This, you have it yourself as a human too. I forgot the name. But like you see that here too, inside, with even the connector, that I can imagine just moves back behind the suit, you know? I have the drawing anyways, you see. Yeah, there were all the pictures. I put full commentary. I'm probably just gonna cut out whatever the fuck not makes sense. After now talking about Springlocks, what they are, what I think, what they're supposed to be doing, and how I'm possibly gonna make them, it's time to make a prototype. Since I don't want to waste my aluminium that I have, I'm going to make it out of cardboard. So well, first I need to go in the garage and collect them. Guys, I got some cardboard. This should be enough. Well, now that should be plenty of cardboard. I'm gonna first need some better light. Okay, now after being able to see, what tools am I going to need? If you want to do it yourself, which, do it. If you want to impress your friends or like want to build something cool, or even make it yourself and then show it in my Discord server, like things that I could improve on it. So first off, you will need some kind of way of cutting the cardboard. Be careful, but be careful, these are really sharp. Then I'd suggest any kind of marker, so you can mark out some parts. And then some kind of glue. I would suggest hot glue, since it's quite simple, easy, and fairly cheap. And another thing I would suggest is getting these extension cables where you can connect your hot glue gun, and then you can then basically glue everywhere or anywhere inside of your room. No cable limitations, because normally the cables and the hot glues are short as fuck. But then best is to place your hot glue somewhere in your room visibly, so you don't accidentally just place it randomly on the floor and then accidentally step on it. You don't want to burn your feet. Or like for even cheaper prototyping, you can just use some tape and just tape it together to get just the shape. But I also want to get some functionality. Now I'm gonna go and do it the good old ways. I used to doing it a lot on the floor. So I have nothing planned out, by the way. I'm just doing whatever I think would work well. And these aren't gonna be like the small prototypes. I'm gonna like make those bigger ones. Make these out of metal in the future. So now having this made, like the cosplay version, makes my job easier, because I can now see how big the hole is and how thick some parts are, and how much the arm takes on space.
right time for just an listen. Love me or leave me, let me be lonely. You don't believe me, I love you only. Night times and night times, right time for kissing.
So I've now made a Springlock test piece out of cardboard. Basically this piece here. So I've now very basically made a Springlock test piece out of this lower arm piece here. And it's basically looking like this. You have these 3 main ribs and 4 that go like across. If you look inside, there is this main animatronic part that then can move to the side. So normally you can't really fit an arm inside, it's very tight space with lots of stuff. But if you then put it back, you see, this moves to the side, it stays like that too. And I can put this on. See? Basically the lower piece, and it also works, you know? And of course, if I would now let go this Springlock piece, then also moves into where your arm is normally located. That's basically my design of a Springlock, which I'm probably gonna do more different ones. So please tell me what you think of this being on like a hinge, moving to side and stuff. So that's just the arms. The arms are their own complicated part. So put in the comments what do you think, if there's any other ways I could do. You can also try it yourself and post pictures in my Discord server, so make sure to check that out. Hope you liked this overall talk through how I imagined Springlocks would work. And see you in the next video. Like and subscribe, check out my Patreon, and bye.
In his ass. Come on. I'm ready. I'm barefooted.